Right. So anyway, and so I told her, I'm like, I got with my artist and we kind of decided that we're gonna go and I'm gonna keep this event piece. To which she responded, "That's not fair. Like we made this agreement. You agreed to follow through with your layaway, and I trusted you, and it's really hard for me to get this myself. Even if people have leftover ones on eBay or something, it's gonna be more." Because I'd given her sort of a special price, basically, um, compared to what it was worth. Because I was very stupid when I was new to the hobby. I discounted things. I gave things away. I discounted shipping. If eBay miscalculated shipping and I sold an item, I would just pay the difference. I was not a very smart person coming into this hobby. And I completely own up to that. I mean, when you're new to something, you're not always going to be your best self. It's just the way it is. So anyway, that's what she told me. She's like, "I don't want to do that. We agreed to this. You agreed to this. We both agreed to this." And then she proceeded to talk to me about giving me a guitar. She's like, "I have this accessory guitar that you can have. It's really awesome and look good with one of your dolls." I don't remember which dolls I had at that time because I've gone through so many now. Um, but I was like, "No, I don't want an accessory. I don't need a bargaining chip. I'm telling you that I don't want to do this transaction anymore." Um, so then, um, you know, basically one of the moderators sent me a message and they were like, "You can't really get mad at her because you gave her this other doll and you came into an agreement of a layaway." And I was like, "Yeah, no, but I'm also very new to DOA. I'm very new to eBay. I'm very new to Etsy. Like, I'm new to all of it. Like, this is all new to me." And me and my artist have come up with an idea to keep it. And she was like, "No, I understand that completely, but you already went into a contract with somebody else when you set up that layaway. So you can't get your money back. Um, you can refund her money back, but you still have to go through with the layaway." And I was like, "That's not fair." I was like, "That's just not fair." So then I told her, I was like, "Okay, what if I have something else that you want?" And she was like, "What do you have?" And I was like, "Well, I have this Aileen doll. I have the little dragon or whatever it's called." She's like, "Oh, I've always wanted one of those." And I was like, "Well, I'm having this contest on YouTube right now, and that's what it's for." And I was like, "Can we just lay away that instead and forget about Larry?" She's like, "Okay, that sounds good. We'll do that." So, we started to get that going, and everything was fine. It was working out pretty good. And then she's like, "I really can't find a DC. I really want that DC, and you promised." And I was like, "I thought we were already past that. Like, I'm working on a new deal with you. We're gonna try to get this new deal done, and now we're still on the old one. The whole point of this new deal is to get off the old one." Anyway, so the moderator contacted me, and they said, "If you agreed into that term with her, you need to follow through with it. Otherwise, we're gonna give you a strike. Like, it's like a strike. You get three and you're out." And I was like, "Okay." So first I got a strike for the 50 Shades of Grey reselling character, which was stupid, even though I took the post down. Now I'm getting a strike for not following through with a layaway, even though I'm doing a different one. So at that point, I was like, "You know what? Just forget it. I'm not going to do any business with this person." So I told her, "We're not doing either transaction now." And she got so bent out of shape that she blocked me. And then I just was so upset. I was like, "Okay, why is this such a big issue? Why are we doing this?" Anyway, and then another member posted on the group that they felt like they had been through a similar situation about wanting to resell a character, and people basically called them like a sexual predator and a terrible person and trying to objectify the dolls too. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to comment, I just felt like this is something that I've been through. And I was like, I've been through the same thing. Um, and then the mods were like, no, 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 don't get involved. Don't do that. Just leave it alone. And I was like, no, but it's true. They did the same thing to me. They forced me to take a post down just because of your own insecurities, fears, or the way you think is wrong and immoral. You're trying to say it's me, but it's really you. Um, and then they were kind of done with me at that point. They were like, you know what? That's pretty much like two or three strikes. I think we're gonna have to, let you go. And I got a long message from somebody, one of the main people, and she talked to me. The only way to describe it is she literally talked to me like a teacher would talk to a student. Like, I'm not gonna role play it, but basically, she kind of went along the lines of, "Well, you came on this group. You've been really awesome. You're very valued. We think you're a really good person." Um, Almost like giving you your strengths, but then your weaknesses followed by that. Telling you all the great things about yourself, but then all the things that are bad. And she's like, "You didn't follow through with your transaction with the other moderator, and that was really wrong. And you asked for your doll back, um, because she didn't, because you just decided you wanted it back. Um, and you also didn't want to follow through with your dragon as well." And I was like, "No, I understand completely, but it's because I really did not know that my artist was as talented as she was. I didn't know she could do that design, and I didn't know what she could do with the other one. And when she told me she could do it, I was like, if you can actually make something that magical, that powerful, that striking, that amazing, yeah, I'd rather keep it, because same problem as her not being able to find it. I won't be able to find it either." You know what I mean? Um, and I was like, she also blocked me just because I didn't want the guitar. I mean, this is weird. And to be fair, I never asked for the doll back. She was basically trying to say, ask for the small doll back. I never asked for it back. I basically just said, you're not really being appreciative to me. You're combating me on wanting to cancel a layaway when I've given you basically $100 doll. You know what I mean? Like, I've given them something. So even though we're canceling another layaway, why does it matter if you got something that you didn't pay for? You know what I mean? Like, why should we be fighting about that? Anyway, I got real upset. The whole 50 Shades of Grey thing, and then the layaway part, and then the way that this moderator talked to me like I was 2 years old was just very, very upsetting. Um, Now, one of the other moderators did talk to me like an adult. They were like, "You come on here, you inspire people, you share ideas, we really value you, but I'm not the main person. It's not really up to me. We all have to fall in line with what the main person says." I was like, "No, I get it." So then I proceeded to report the group to Facebook. When I reported the group to Facebook was when things got real nasty. And they were like, "We didn't do anything wrong to you. We followed our rules and policies. You were a bad member. This is your fault. It's on you." And I was like, I really didn't do anything that I haven't ever seen anybody else do. I was like, I know people that change their mind. Let me put it, I'm going to give you the short version. When somebody spends money on an item, any item, and they go into a sale or transaction with somebody, if they decide to change their mind, that is their right. They spent the money for it. That's it. It's their right. And the whole thing about the Larry Snell was that it wasn't, I didn't even have it in my hands yet. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example of how far it would be before I got that doll. So I ordered the DC Kevin, which was probably, I'm going to say that I did that around October of 2014, maybe November of 2014. I did not receive that doll until like way in September of the next year or close to it, or somewhere along that summertime. And I'm talking about the snail. I had the other doll before it, but the snail came way after. And I've been told by other people that's normal. Like they're not gonna ship them together. They're not gonna ship the event piece with the doll. That's rare that they do that. Um, so why would I want to go into layaway with somebody that I can't give them their product right away? You really shouldn't sell something you don't have. I know that's not allowed on most groups. Um, and then B, if I decided to contest the other item, the Aileen doll, that should be my right as well. Like, I don't have to give it to you or sell it to you just because you're the moderator. So I felt like there's just a little bit of abuse of power there. But at the same time, it's been like 2 years now. What will be 2 years since this whole thing went down in May. And I just think it's all a big misunderstanding. I mean, if you really listen to the story and you kind of break down the layers, I didn't understand certain parts of the hobby that they knew. They understood more of the parts of the hobby that I didn't. I didn't understand that a contract is permanent and you don't get your money back, or they don't get their money back, or there's no refunding, or all sales final. And so I understand it. But again, I really feel like if you spend your own money, then that's it. Like, you're in control of what happens next. Anyway, if you're an avid subscriber, you know this story was watered down quite a bit. And the reason for that was because when I initially made it, I was very upset. I used a lot of names, I used some expletives. I was hurting people's character. And I do apologize for that video. And so when you DM me and you're like, why don't you just re upload it? I would love to. Just like I would love to re upload the video where I talked about recast. I was crying about the way people were telling people to kill each other, kill themselves because they bought a recast. I'm like, really? You know what I mean? So I can't re-upload that video. Like legally, I can't re-upload that video. I mean, not to say that I've ever been to court over any of this stuff, because like I said, I never really did anything too bad. I just got upset and made a video. But I was told to basically cease and desist that video just because I got too personal with names. Because on Facebook, you know people's real names, and that wasn't right on my part to do that. So, but telling the story more watered down, more to the point of what happening, and doing it over 2 videos really kind of gives you an idea. It's not rushed, and you can understand where it came from. And I've told this story several times to people in the hobby, and literally everybody says, "Oh my gosh, I was you. I did all these stupid things when I was young and right new to the hobby, and you did nothing wrong. All you did wrong was be young, and not young as a person, but young as doing something new you didn't know a lot about. I'd never done a layaway before, so I really had no business in doing one then. You know what I mean? So I mean, I get it, and I'm not upset. I hold no harsh feelings towards anybody. I am kind of let down by the fact that I can't rejoin the group. I have tried as late as December of 2016. I sent a message to several different moderators about wanting to come back, and not even quite understanding exactly why I was banned. I'm just gonna assume it wasn't just because of the reselling and because of not wanting to do the layaway. I think it was more of reporting the group that would just kind of upset them. But again, I was just really, you know what I mean? I don't like to feel like I'm in a dictatorship. I like to feel like I have the freedom to say what I want and do what I want and do how I feel. But I also understand I was stupid and young and naive. You know what I mean? Like there's a middle ground. It's not just you're young and stupid and naive or you're really smart. There is a middle ground. When you're new to anything, just imagine like a new job. And you come in and there's all these like people around you that have been there for a long time and they know how to do things like the back of their hand, like easy, like nothing. And then you ask them a question and they look at you like, "Oh my gosh, are you stupid?" You know what I mean? Like, so there were some things I didn't know well, but I just basically feel like I it just happened so fast, and it was just like a whirlwind of emotion. And it was also around the time where I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I had lost a job I loved, and uh, I was just not prepared to be around people who couldn't be honest with me and tell me the right things to do stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, well, that concludes the story time. This is part two, and we're like around 15 minutes. I'm going to shut it down here. But if you have any questions or comments, or you want any more story times in the future, just hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the little ringo notification bell, and it will let you know when I post a new video. I'm going to try to do a lot more in 2017. I know 2016 was completely lacking, but it was a sorry year too. Anyway, love you guys. Talk to you later. Thank you, Mr. Knights. Without your support, this channel would be nothing. And I know it's still like mostly nothing, but it's not as nothing as some other channels. All right, bye.